James Harden is a runner. You like football, basketball, you're chilling with the homies, bet them whatever, 10, 20, 50, 100, the friendly wager with the homie. This is the podcast for you. Never claim to be an industry professional. Just trying to get you the quick flip off of the sports ting. No lies, no limits, no long talking. This is No Cap Bets. I'm your host, Plus. I got a special guest with me in the house.
You know what it is. It's Polite Canadian. Check me out.
I still got to remind him the mics are like super loud. Like we could hear you, dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm torn between James Harden. I think he got a shitty deal over there in Brooklyn, and now like his reputation is tarnished, and people don't respect him anymore. That's kind of like he's still a baller, bro. And I think he showed it when Embiid went out in the playoffs last year. But he looks like a bit of a whiner right now.
Yo, he does. And you know his stats last year, 21-10. Yo, anybody in the NBA, that's sick. But yo, to James Harden, that's a fall off.
So yeah. Well, so you know what was really telling to me is when he had he went into the press conference and he was like, you know, like if you put me in a position, like you give me the ball, like I can still make it happen. It's just they gave me a role here. They specifically told me like I'm here to facilitate and help this guy. If you made me the number one guy, I could give you this every night. So he's only a point guard by default. Like basically, you know, as a part, he's just following orders.
But yo, he's been a point guard, you know. Like, do you remember when in OKC when they went to the finals, people were so frustrated with Russell Westbrook. They're like, yo, James Harden is the point guard of this team.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? So
yeah.
He's had the skills, the tools to play that position.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's a very talented like facilitator and playmaker, but he's also like one of the best offensive scorers of all time. Like that little run, that MVP year that he had the year after that, where he felt that he should have got 2, but Giannis got it. He's already proven himself in that. Now it's about for him winning chips. What do I got to do to win the chips? And that's why I liked him so much in OKC, because I watched this interview with him and he said, yo, I actually thought I was going to be a 6-man for life. Like, if OKC, so Sam Presti screwed up.
He must have been the only one that thought that though.
Yeah, I guess, right?
Yeah, because we all knew that he was going to blow.
Except for OKC and Sam Presti. Why wouldn't they give him the bread? He was happy to play the role. You know what I mean? So I think he's been a victim of, you know how they always say like it's a system thing. Sometimes you have a good player and you just have a bad system. And he's never really had a good system.
You don't think so?
I think Houston never put the right pieces around him. Just before we got on air today, we talked about Daryl Morey, and we're going to bring him up in a second. That year that he was in Houston, and they literally played small ball the whole year. Like, what is that?
Just to cater to him.
Yeah, I guess.
Dribble.
So this is Daryl Morey. This is Chris Broussard from the Odd Couple podcast speaking on James Harden, his latest comments. So he went out, like he was doing like a basketball camp. Was that in China?
Something like that, yeah.
Daryl Morey is a liar, and I will never be a part of an organization that he's a part of either. Thank you, man.
And let's hear what Chris Broussard has to say, and we're obviously going to have some comments on this.
James Harden is a runner. I understood Houston. Now, the way you ran wasn't right. Just tanking on a team. You didn't just sit out. You didn't just demand a trade and wait for him to trade you. You demanded the trade. And then when you saw that they were twiddling their thumbs, you just started playing really bad basketball for your level. Right? So he quit on the Rockets. And then he goes to the Brooklyn Nets. And look, I get it. I mean, Kyrie was exasperating, and that's Kyrie's choice. I have family members that didn't get vaccinated, so I'm not like ripping him for that.
Yeah,
but it hurts your basketball team. There's no doubt about that.
He was the only one that played that year.
And James Harden was upset about that, but he ran. I mean, heck, Martin, he still had KD. It wasn't like without Kyrie, they were junk. He still had Kevin Durant, but he ran. And now, this is what I don't understand.
All right, I'm getting rid of this guy. What are your thoughts? Polite Canadian.
All right, so Amazon, for instance, right? They were ranked as one of the worst employers in America. All right, but I think what we're missing in this conversation here is the worst employers in the NBA. You know, there's a few teams like that just have a sour reputation. You know, Phoenix had a pretty bad reputation for a while. But look at Philly, though. Ever since the process began, we could talk about Jahlil Okafor, 17-5, and 7 rebounds in his rookie year.
Let him go.
Guy's not even in the NBA anymore.
Let him go.
Michael is it Michael Carter Williams?
Yeah, MCW.
His first game of the season, he exploded. He was supposed to be a star.
I think he was gonna be a rookie of the year that year for sure.
He was, especially after that first game. We're like, holy, just give it to him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Where is he?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yo.
Markelle Fultz, they gave up on him.
I almost forgot about Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz, dog. And then Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
He shut down. He was supposed to be great. Next LeBron is what they were saying. I never agreed with it, but that's what they were saying. They lost Jimmy Butler. Listen, we're in Toronto, bro. We've seen what Jimmy Butler was doing in that second round against the Raptors.
2019, boy.
And they chose Tobias Harris.
And look at the man now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there needs to be some onus on the Philadelphia Sixers because they had more than enough tools to create something that would have dynasty potential.
Yeah, right? Definitely.
But they threw it away.
You know, I feel like there's a lot of accountability to be held on Daryl Morey because, you know, those old Philly teams, he didn't really have much to do with, you know. I do think James Harden is he's overreacting, at least from a team standpoint, because he's got good pieces around him. Like, I expect Philly to be a contender if he were to stay there. Mm-hmm. However, I mean, Brett Brown, Doc Rivers of all people. Like, I don't play basketball professionally. Even if I did or didn't, I would never want to play for Doc Rivers.
Yeah. I think he's a little bit of an overrated coach, to be honest. But they were saying that they wanted Mike D'Antoni in there. But the danger with that is that it's going to be James Harden dribble, cross you up, alley, but it's going to be the James Harden show. You know,
I think Mike D'Antoni likes pace. Mm-hmm. James Harden's really good with he does hog the ball a bit, but he's good in pushing the pace. Like, he'll always find somebody. He's always looking to score. Whereas when you have a guy like Joel Embiid, he really slows the game down. Mm-hmm. Takes him back to the basket, about 3 dribbles. That's a good 7 seconds off the clock.
Right.
D'Antoni's coaching style can't really fit
Joel Embiid. He's no Amari Stoudemire, you know. He's not going to be catching lobs and, you know.
Running the floor up and down.
He'd be getting tired, running like, he's carrying like a heavy backpack. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I've seen that man's hands on his knees more than I've seen him get buckets. You know what I'm saying?
Dude's a big dude. He's carrying a whole lot of weight.
Yeah.
But you did mention something about Daryl Morey and his relationship with James Harden.
I think that relationship is strained. Obviously there was a intention to bring him over to Philly to kind of build that chemistry back that they once had at the Rockets. But when you take a look at the Rockets back in the day, like, Daryl Morey has basically lost his franchise's games. You know, if we can go back to the year that they played the small ball, Daryl Morey went out in public and literally said, I constructed this team to beat the Warriors.
I didn't know he said that.
He said it out in the media.
I know, wasn't he just in China and stuff? Like, had knowing like NBA's got.
Yeah. He's kind of bad for business at the end of the day. Him being over there at Philly, I think it holds more weight than what people believe. Yeah. Like, yes, according to Chris Broussard, like, you have pieces around you, you're already on a team, so on and so forth. And just to that point that he made there, LeBron's been a runner. Mm-hmm. KD's been a runner. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kyrie's been a runner.
Yeah.
So why is it that when James Harden, who was the only guy who actually dressed for Brooklyn, I'm pretty sure that season that he left and had the hamstring season, he had the most games played that season. So he was the reason why they were in the playoffs. I don't feel like he runs from anything. When Embiid was out, he carried that team.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to call James Harden a runner, we got to keep it consistent across the board.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or let's just say this is now a negotiating tactic. Like, that's okay for the players to reclaim their power back and say, listen, I'm not going to put myself in any danger, any injury. I know my value. I'm not showing up and playing for an organization like this if they don't value me, you know? I mean, you owe loyalty where loyalty is due. And like I said, when there was no Embiid and there was really no hope, James Harden was the one that stepped up for them. And, if Daryl Morey had been with this guy since Houston, he does owe him that loyalty, Look, classic case in point, Bob Myers is out over there in Golden State. But Mike Dunleavy went and took the role, and they gave Draymond the bread that he deserves. You know what I mean? Like, this is not the first time that Daryl Morey has made promises. If you remember, Chris Paul actually came out into the media and said, Daryl Morey literally told me I wasn't going to get traded.
I think he's going to show up. He's going to play because he he cares about his bread.
Right.
He has thotties to pay. He's giving out checks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he will get traded because this is just a bad situation. I think Joel Embiid will follow.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think the 76ers franchise is over. There's way too much competition in the East already. Mm-hmm. And if you can't gel your unit together, then yeah, that's probably a bad situation for Harden. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you join the No Cap Bets, the podcast. Subscribe to that. Make sure you're tapped in with everything. Follow us on Instagram, official No Cap Bets. For the polite Canadian, make sure you guys subscribe to his channel. Check out his videos. Follow us. It's been another episode of No Cap Bets. Bless up. Yes, sir. Yes.